Wallace. Details of that study have been published in the journal Proceedings of Royal Society B. Well, as the conclave to select a successor to Pope Francis gets underway in Rome, a group of survivors of clergy sexual abuse is demanding the conclave elect a pope who will adopt a zero-tolerance policy for abuse and who himself has a clean record of handling cases. The group End Clergy Abuse issued an open letter to the cardinals stating their demands, and SNAP, the main U.S.-based survivor group, has now identified cardinals who themselves have problematic records in a new database just ahead of the conclave vote. Both ECA and SNAP have called for the Catholic Church to adopt a zero-tolerance policy that a priest will be permanently removed from church ministry, even for a single act of sexual abuse. That is the policy in the U.S. Church that was adopted in 2002, but it's not necessarily embraced in the rest of the world. Well, if you own a small business, take the first step toward winning $10,000 to grow your business. Visit 1010wins.com/challenge for more info. That's 1010wins.com/challenge.
All news, all the time.
All right, they're going to step out of here.
This is 1010 Wins.
I need to put this stuff somewhere else.
FM. You give us 20
Super green.
We'll give you the world.
Super green. Here we go.
68 degrees, and we've got sunny skies in Manhattan at 10:20. I'm Linda
I need
Lucas.
to start taking this stuff again,
A
man.
worker is shot in Times Square early this morning. Police say he had gotten into some kind of dispute with a group of people. Several city advocacy groups are teaming up to sue the NYPD over its so-called gang database. The panel that decides how much rent can go up for rent-stabilized apartments in the city is expected to vote for rent increases for the 5th straight year. The U.S. Postal Service has reportedly been quietly helping the Trump administration with its deportation efforts. And Barbra Streisand will be teaming up with some legendary artists for her new duets album. 1010 Wins AccuWeather. It's going to be mostly sunny today. Really nice outside. Pleasant, less windy. We get to a high of 74 degrees in the city. A little cooler tonight. We'll see a few clouds, low 51. And then tomorrow.
But I got to get it done. You know.
We'll see more clouds and sun. The high of 68 for your Thursday.
Oh, so anybody, I only take this one. It's garbage.
Wins News Time, 10:21. Let's get our check of traffic and transit on the
And these are empty.
Well, it looks like we have a bunch of issues.
These are empty. I was saving these for a project.
The inbound RFK Triborough Bridge has got a crash on it, it looks like.
This was going to be for a low-noise amplifier.
Queens, the Bronx.
I have a couple of them, right? It's just the board.
We may have a southbound
And, you know, I can put it outside, you know.
We might have a
But I'm not going to use them now, so.
By Grand Concourse. Now, the southbound FDR Drive definitely has, if you want to call it an incident, it's an accident at 108th Street. We are jam-packed back up the Harlem River to 143rd Street, traveling down into the scene at 108th. So that's what we're dealing with right now over on the southbound Harlem River Drive, FDR Drive combination. The westbound side of the BQE, as we check the jam
back and forth today, boy.
Morgan does have an accident in the right lane. The westbound delays, they go back to Northern Boulevard, and we've got a little bit of eastbound
Let's put the BS
up into the area right around Roosevelt Avenue. We've got construction up there on
the BS detector.
Our next report's happening at 10:31.
Here we go.
I'm Karen Stewart, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM.
Shopping for a car just got easier, way easier. You can now buy or lease your next Hyundai at Amazon. Browse cars available in your area, anytime, from anywhere. Once you found the right car for you, you can quickly and easily apply for financing, get a trade-in offer for your old car,
BS
and
detector.
pick up at your local Hyundai dealership. Get your next Hyundai at Amazon Autos. Visit Amazon.com/autos to get started. Terms and conditions apply.
Oh, look, my own, when I
shooting
got
this
married.
morning in Times Square. The NYPD says a 29-year-old food
This is a
cart
keepsake.
worker was shot in the arm.
I keep this in a
at
safe
5 a.m.
place.
at 7th Avenue and West 47th Street. Police say the victim had had a dispute with several people before the shooting. Cops are questioning 3 persons of interest right now, but say the investigation is ongoing.
Astis
The Rent
Pomanti.
Guidelines Board is expected to vote tonight in favor of rent increases on 1-year leases. This would be the 5th such increase in the last 5 years. Tonight's preliminary vote comes as the city's landlords complain that rising insurance, fuel, and other costs are making it difficult to do maintenance on apartment buildings. A final vote is expected within 2 months, and any rent increases would affect leases that start after October 1st. while calling its gang database racially discriminatory.
My niece.
Several civil and human
My
rights
niece, when
law
she was a
organizations
bad,
are teaming up to sue
she's like
the
14
NYPD.
now.
These advocates say 96%
Well,
of
she's
all
gonna be
of the
14.
people on the list are
Time
Black or
flies.
Latino.
Oh.
They say the list is about surveillance, oppression, and not trusting our communities. The NYPD has said it adamantly disagrees with accusations of racism and discrimination. The police commissioner earlier this year attributing a slew of arrests to the database, saying anyone in favor of scrapping it doesn't understand its purpose and its importance in combating crime for all New Yorkers. Marla Diamond, 1010 wins on 92.3 FM in Brooklyn.
The Supreme Court will hear arguments today in the dispute over efforts in Oklahoma to create an online Catholic charter school. CBS News legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum says it's a case that could open the door to letting religious schools receive public funding.
The Supreme Court has ruled in several cases that the government can't support public schools in a way that deprives students in private schools of the advantages of being a taxpayer in the state. But those are private schools, not private religious schools. Here, the court would have to say
We see this
that
globe.
even if it's a religious school, it should receive the same.
Alexa, stop. So this globe's supposed to light up like at night, like all the cities and all that. Where's mine? Gonna try it. Go for it, Daddy. Go for it. Hopefully it doesn't fall apart. No, it's not gonna work. Jesus Christ. Let me try it over here. Let me see. Let me try it, man. Okay, without dropping it, Danny. So this globe. I think I remember. If I remember, like, oh shit, it doesn't fit here. This doesn't belong here. Oh, really? Oh, this is not the plug for this one. Oh man, this is for something else, right? Oh, I'm gonna find that plug now. Or did it break? No, that's not the plug for that. Nah. Anyway, this is supposed to light up. And when you turn it on, although it takes batteries, right? Yeah, I can put batteries in it. Okay, I can put batteries in it. So this, when you turn it on, all the major cities light up. It's like nighttime, you know, when you're looking at it from space. Pretty cool. Oh, okay. And it's made by Discovery. Discovery Kids, whatever. Okay, so that plug is, this is for something else. This is for the, I remember, 4.5 volt. Okay, this is for something else. I have it in the other room. This is something, this is my son. My son, we have that, you know, it's like a globe. And when you plug this in, it lights up the ceiling with stars and stuff like that. So this plug is for that one. And then the plug for that one, I don't know if that one had a plug. Unless it's this one. Oh, it could be this one. Oh, let me try it. That's why I gotta take inventory of all this stuff. Let me try it here. Let me see. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah, so this one fits here. Okay, so let me try this again. Try this again. And then let me point it like that. I know I got the fucking strobe like one thing. No, it doesn't work. It's off. Yeah, it's not working. Wow. Anyway, I have one around there. I don't know. It fits in there, but I don't think it's the one. I have to check the voltage. Anyway, it has batteries too, so Has batteries too, so you know. I'll keep it over here. So when I set up my shack here, hey, Jace Farley, good morning, my man. When I set up my shack here, I probably gonna use that globe. It's a little globe. It's cute. It's cool. But I'm gonna put batteries in it. And you turn it on, it's supposed to light up all the well-populated areas. It's pretty cool. So we bought that for our son when he was whenever he decides he wants his own room. Right now he's 10. He doesn't want to, That's another thing too. That's why I need to put everything in one room because well, eventually the garage. So I'm taking all this down today. I'm gonna bring my 55-inch TV. First, I gotta put the TV mount here, and then I'm gonna mount my 55-inch here. That's what I'm doing today. I'm gonna get busy, boy. I'm gonna get busy. I'm gonna be here for a while, bro. I might take a break here and there. I'm gonna let it roll today. Ain't no radio stuff today. Today's just me talking crap. Oh, look, I got 3D glasses. I got 3D glasses. Okay, let me turn on the light here. Sorry. Let me turn off the siren. The siren's kind of blinding people. I just wanted to show the BS detector. Remember the BS detector? I detect some BS. There you go. These are 3D glasses. They kind of dusty though. My God, they're dusty as hell. Let me get a paper towel here. Let me get a paper towel. Let me get my trash bin right here. I have to wipe out a couple of things. These are 3D glasses. We took these from the theater. My hair's so messed up, man. That's why I was wearing a cap, man. I don't want to. Like 3D glasses. I don't know if you can see them up close. Let's see if you can see them up close. See? Real 3D. These are 3D glasses. My wife and I, when we first dating, my God, these things are dusty as hell. We went to see Saw 3D. That's a long time ago. That's like 20 plus years ago. It's a long time ago. So, of course, in the theater, they give you the glasses. You're supposed to return them, but of course, we did not return them. So, I have them all these years. And then remember, shortly after that, when the first HD TVs came out, then they came out with the 3D ones. So you actually can put on a pair of glasses like this, and you could, like if it's a 3D TV and it looks 3D, it's of course a gimmick, So these are the 3D glasses. So you can see stuff in 3D. All right, let me put my cap on. My hair looks crazy. I need a barber, man. I need a barber. What the hell? Yeah, so anyway, 3D glasses. I got a whole bunch of sunglasses here, man. Let me move back over here. Man, I got a whole bunch of sunglasses. Kenneth Cole. Wow, I got Kenneth Cole. I got some good design. What's this? I got NASCAR branded glasses. I got a whole bunch of sunglasses, man. It's a beautiful day, and I can't be outside today. I want to take care of this once and for all because within a couple of more days, I'm going to be painting the kitchen. Then I'm going to put up the cabinets. I'm going to be up there the whole rest of the week. So I figured today my son is in school. He didn't go to school yesterday because still be, freaking whatever. My wife said, "Oh, let him stay home." I was like, so he's in school. So I say, you know what? I'm going to take care of this today. I'm going to mount my TV here today. I'm doing this shit today. Today. Oh, you have a pair of polarized fishing glasses. Nice. Yeah. I gotta take all this stuff out, and then I'm taking out this shelf. And I take out these I'm gonna take out all these frames and this, and then I don't know if I'm gonna end the live stream, but I'm gonna shut down this screen because I still have that screen. And this screen is just on, but it doesn't have to be on. I want to take all this out, and then I'm gonna try to mount it. I'm gonna try it live. If not, then I won't mount it live or whatever because I don't. I might knock out some cables and. But I want to take all this out. Of course, I made a video of this on Danny's diecast collection, F-14 Tomcat right here, Top Gun. This was featuring the original Top Gun, so of course I made a video on that. So check out the video of the F-14 Tomcat. And there you go. Take my breath away. Oh my God, I'm gonna start singing soon. There you go. Speaking of glasses, another one right here. More sunglasses. Aviator. This is my AC. This is my remote for the AC, but of course this doesn't work anymore. So tickets. Yankee tickets. Can you ring the bell? Yeah, I can ring the bell. Of course I can ring. Yeah, ring the bell in. Put it right here. There you go. There you go. Look at my son when he was a baby. Baby boy, look at chubby. Look how chubby he was. Chubby boy. Look at his arms. My God, look at how chubsy wubsy he was. Chubby boy. My baby boy when he was a little chubster. What the hell is that? What's falling off? The house. Let me see what else here. Oh, I need that's what I need. Like, yeah. See, I got this from Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls. Let's see if this is. Anyway, Niagara Falls. I don't have my glasses on. Of course, these are made in China, but I got it from Niagara Falls. First time I went to Niagara Falls. So it's Mama Bear, Cubby, whatever, Black Bear. Black Bear. I know people. Whoever's watching it, other than so sorry, it's not gonna be a radio live stream today. It's just gonna be me tearing down stuff. I was gonna do this on the Danny show, but I said, what the hell? Let me gobble up some hours today. Why not? Okay, let me unplug this guy. This guy. Unplug this guy. Unplug this guy. I'm not gonna put the strobe light. Not a strobe light. Excuse me. I said strobe light. I should put it right here. I'll put it right here. Anyway, before that, I know somebody's gonna ask me about this toilet bowl. So here we go. Somebody's gonna ask me about this, so I might as well show it now. Might as well show it now. What the hell? The power strip fell on the floor. Look at this. I have this long power strip. Long power strip. I bought these at a computer show a long time ago. I have two of them. It's a really long. So I know I got a mess, but I'm gonna fix it up. I'm gonna fix it up this next couple of weeks. Yeah. So this is it's very popular. My son used to scroll through YouTube, and he will. I don't know. They had this stuff. It's called Skibbity. Skibbity. Of course, it's still wrapped up. And you know, this is very popular on YouTube. And of course, you can flush the toilet. And it has some other stuff. You know, this guy pops out and some, you know, whatever. So, you know, eventually I have this in the back somewhere. I don't know. But I already, you know, we bought two of them. My son, but he doesn't use it now. Yeah, I know there's stuff when people watch. The thing that kids watch now on YouTube is like crazy. So this was like very popular. You know, I mean, they have like millions of subscribers and all that, and millions of views. So you know, you got kids that just scroll, and they start watching this stuff, and oh my god, so that's what it's called. Skip. They're actually gonna make a movie about this, believe it or not. You know, oh, well, of course, my son doesn't watch this stuff anymore. He kind of sort of look for a few weeks. He was looking at it, and then that's it. Now he's on to the next thing. You know, now he's into the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. You know, that's the thing. A lot of kids they watch this stuff over, and then they go on to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. So, but anyway, this is what this is. Skip Bitty toilet, and it has its characters. And if you look it up, if you Google, look it up on YouTube, you'll see the videos. Whatever. It's crazy. That's what that is. And let me take these pictures off. These are pictures, family photos and stuff. So, you know. Yeah, I'm already huffing and puffing, man. All right, let me see what else. My niece. Oh, my niece and my son, they want a beauty contest. My wife made this for me for my a couple of years ago. This was on top of the cake. So I put this on top of the cake. It was last year. No, not this past. A couple of years ago. So she made this for me. See, she made it for me. Very creative. So it would be like a boom box. Of course, you know, cassette. Then she cut that out. She put the glitter on it. Sorry. Pretty cool. So of course I keep it as a keepsake, you know. Keepsake. Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool, right? Put this over here somewhere. Let me put this over here. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I know. I don't know why I buy this stuff. You know, I'm a sucker for trains and Polar Express and all that. So, you know, I think eventually I have an idea. I might, but I'm going to put the screen up here. I'm going to put it higher, actually. I was thinking about putting it lower, but I want to put it up high because I'm thinking about, you know, I got the little man cave thing going on. I might, you know, so it's definitely going to be up higher. So I want to get as high as I can. It fits 55 inch. It fits right in this spot too. Right in this spot. It's gonna fit. It's gonna be up high. And then of course I'm gonna put. I got a standing desk there. I gotta put that together. And I might put it here. Or I may get another. I have another table around there. Let me put it here. And then put some rigs on it. And another screen down here. Maybe 2 screens. So it's gonna have 1, 2, 3 screens. So I don't know yet. I gotta see. I gotta see how it's gonna work. Because I was planning this. I was gonna do the shelving again, but I don't want to do that no more. I want to bring it. I want to bring the TV in here. I'm done. I'm done with that. Because that room, I need to gut it out. That's what I did with this room. I gut out the floor. See, the floor right now is no. There's no more wood floor here. It's a concrete slab. And I was gonna paint it on. I just don't have time for that now. I want to set this up already. And then because I gotta take care of stuff upstairs and. Wife is breaking my balls. You're breaking my beans. I even Tony Soprano. You ever seen that? You ever seen the PAX TV? Tony's The Sopranos. You're breaking my beans. Quit breaking my beans. See you next week. Oh man, I'm tripping over the stuff here, man. See you next week. Let me take that down. You're breaking my buzz. Let me get some water. Get all my water over here. I need my water. I need my water. Let me read the comments. Hold on. I gotta put my glasses on. Actually, I'm gonna move. You know what? I'm gonna move the screen over here. Let me drag the screen over here. I can see it better. Let me see it better. Yeah, I can see it better here. So I don't need the. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I don't need my glasses. I can read it here better. Bambo. Let me see. Jace Wally, maybe she can make a sign for your garage saying it's at your own risk. Yeah. You know, is this house got this space in this house is just that you know what happened was long story short, what happened was when I first moved here, there was a lot of junk already there. Especially the garage. There was a lot of junk in there. So I spent like almost the first year just emptying out the garage. And then my brother's junk was here too. My brother Harry, he was still in California. And he was, you know, going through a stupid phase. You know, I don't know when we come back to New York. And I was about to just put his shit in the trash. It was a whole bunch of shit. And then he came to New York. And then, of course, I had, you know, so he took his shit with him upstairs. So, you know, and then this floor was already damaged because of flooding. So I couldn't do nothing about that because for the first couple of years or so, I was surrounded by other people's junk. Of course, this is years before I started my channel. years before I started my channel. I didn't have much stuff, you know. I was surrounded with a lot of other people's stuff. And then at that time, we had 3 tenants upstairs. They were full. All the rooms were full upstairs. And 2 out of 3 were assholes. So it was straight up asshole, giving my wife a hard time. Then my wife say, you know what? I'll tell you the story that she inherited the house, basically. And then, then we got married. So then I became the de facto landlord. So I went up there and I was trying to straighten them out, and they didn't want to listen. So I started saying, you know what? You get the fuck out, and you get the fuck out. And I had to evict one, boom, 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 boom. I had a clean house upstairs. Because the problem with tenants, if you got asshole tenants, it ain't gonna work. I don't care how much money they're paying me, and they're not even paying me. Well, one of them was paying me on time because he was on disability. But that's the one that I found out that he was a fucking pedophile too. So I had to get rid of his ass anyway. The other guy, he was a fucking racist. He was just a fucking, you ever heard of Colin Ferguson? That he looks just like him. The guy that shot up the LIRR train, that guy, he looks just like him. African American nut job upstairs. So he would pull out that card on me, and then he wound up owing he was behind like for months because he whatever. I was like, you know what? I don't care. You're out of here. Plus, he would smoke and shit, and So my wife couldn't handle that. She said, no, you take care of all that. I said, you gonna let me take care of it? Okay. So I clean house. I got rid of all of them. Then the last guy, he was a little nut job too, but he was manageable. But then what happened with him? He lost his job, and he couldn't pay me. And I said, no, you can't pay me. You gotta go. You gotta go, bro. You gotta go. But he left. I didn't need to evict him. He just left. He left on his own. He paid me what he could, but then after that, he gone. That was it. So those 2 rooms been empty. My brother is staying in the other room, but I have 2 more rooms that are empty. The one that you see me live stream a lot, that's an empty room. But that one, I'm gonna have to maybe someday, that one is probably gonna be eventually my son's. So that's why I'm kind of, I'm just gonna cram everything in here. I'm gonna cram everything in here pretty much, and that's it. I'm gonna bite the bullet. This stuff might be gone. I might store this in there or something. I don't know how I'm gonna. I don't know yet. Maybe I'll keep it here for now. I don't know. But I definitely, this wall is gonna be, that I have my 55-inch right there. Bam. That's it. Okay, this bottle over there. Hello, RRT08. Good morning. Yeah, I know. I'm already taking a break. I'm clearing out this shelf right here, and then I'm gonna take it out. Let me clear this side over here. Matter of fact, let me paper towel. Let me fold this chair up and put it over here for now because I'm gonna clear this shelf. There we go. So I'm gonna point it over here for now. I want to clear this side over here. So let me clear this. Let me clear my Total Beats. I need to start taking that again. This is very good. My mom talked about renting a room after my dad passed away. I told her, no, yeah, you don't, because you don't want to deal with that. Believe me. It's different when you own another house and you don't see them all the time. But when they live upstairs, if you have a tenant living upstairs, first of all, they're strangers. You don't know who they are, even though they tell you who they say they are. But that's what happened with the pedophile. But he's been living here before I moved here. So that's why, he pulled the wool over on her. But when I first met him, I knew he was already rough around the edges. Because I could tell by tattoos. when I see prison tattoos, you know, because there's a difference between when you go to when you get a tattoo from a shop, you know how nice they are, they look very, and when they do tattoos in prison, you could tell right away because they look all crude. They look all crude and shit, and they all faded and all that shit. So he had a bunch of those. So that means he did some time. He didn't have like one little thing. He had a bunch of them. And I was like, yeah, this guy did some fucking time somewhere. But I couldn't pinpoint, I couldn't look it up until my last tenant moved up there because my last tenant was a private investigator. He did that on the side. And what they call skip tracer. And he also does repos. He does a location, like he locates the car and then he calls the repo guy and they take the car. So my last tenant, he was so he looked them up first. And then he told me, he said, Danny, you need to look up this guy. And I said, yeah. He said, just Google. He said, all it took was a Google search of his name. So then I found out that the guy is a pedophile. He's a level 2. He's a level 2 sex offender in the state. Level 2. There was because court, anytime you go to court, that's public record. Remember that, people. Anytime you go to court, that's a public record. You can look up anybody, unless it's like a juvenile. But you like juveniles, they usually don't make that public. Nah, he didn't have no teardrop. He didn't have nothing in his face. He didn't have nothing in his face. He didn't have none of that. But he had some Virgin Mary, ugly looking Virgin Mary crap like that. But you could tell they're not from a tattoo shop. And he's older than me. He's older than me. He's like right now he's probably like 70 almost now. And yeah, I told my wife, I said, yo, this guy, he's shady. So I ain't going out with this guy. Believe me. And then when the other roomie told me, yo, Danny, we started talking, and he said, yeah, when I met him, right away, he looked rough around the edges. I said, yeah, I know when I met him because, when I met him, you could tell that the guy is like, then he's also stolen valor. He lies a lot about Vietnam. Oh, he was in Vietnam, and he went to combat, and he was lying about all that shit. He didn't go to combat in Vietnam. He probably got drafted, didn't make it to boot camp, or made it to boot camp, but probably eventually got kicked out because of drug use. Because that's what happened to him. That's another thing. The man got hepatitis C. You don't get hepatitis C unless you're shooting up or you're doing some, I know a few people grew up a few people that got hepatitis. That's shooting up. So I know he was shooting up. That's when I know the guy was shooting up. And he's probably taking methadone and all that shit right now to control his. And the guy, he's like the worst drinker. He used to always invite me to have a beer, and I would tell him, nah, I don't want to drink with you. Get out of here, bro. I don't drink with stupid people. Because I was always like that. I was always the type of person that he was always trying to buddy up with me. Oh, Danny, you want to have a cerveza? And I would tell him, nah, I don't want to drink with you, bro. Because one rule is I didn't want to get buddy with tenants because then that leads to trouble. Because he was always trying to be sweet and all that shit. And then, like when he would complain about the other tenants, that's when I knew he was a two-face. But he was talking bad about everybody up there. Oh, this guy. And I'm looking at him like, bro, do you get along with anybody upstairs? Because he's always fighting with the tenants upstairs. That's another thing. He was always a shit starter. So Then he wanted to drink with me. I said, no, I don't want to drink with you. I don't want, because I already know, you understand with me, I'm a solitary person. Even when I drink, I like to drink by myself. I like to have a couple of beers, listen to my radio, right? That's me. I like to kick back, listen to my radio, maybe, watch something on the screen. Maybe I'm watching a sporting event or something. Have a couple of beers, I kick back, that's it. No harm, no foul, right? You're all alone in your house. You're not out there getting in trouble. You're not banging around some other woman. You're faithful. Of course, she doesn't get that sometimes, because I am faithful. And you got a good man. But he's the type of person that I notice about him. He talks a lot about other people, and that's a red flag. When you talk a lot about other people, that means you're two-faced. That means that the guy plays both sides. So that means he probably talks to them about me. And that's what happened. I found out, Daddy, who he thinks he is, Because as soon as I moved in here, he was the one that used to collect the mail for my wife, because my wife was staying with me in the Bronx. I said, give me the keys to the mailbox. He said, you're not collecting my mail. I told him, give me the keys to my mailbox. You're not collecting my mail. Give me the fucking keys. They didn't want to hang out in my backyard with his shirt off, I told him, yo, that backyard is not yours. It's my backyard now. Get the fuck out of my backyard. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of my backyard. What the fuck? I want to see you fucking sunbathing in my backyard. What the fuck? The guy was sunbathing in my backyard with his shirt off. Are you fucking kidding me? So when I moved here, right away, I put a whole bunch of boom, 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 boom. I'm living with my wife now. I'm moving here. I don't want you in my backyard. You're not allowed in my backyard. You're not allowed in my alley. Because if I catch you in my backyard, I'm going to kick your ass. I told him. I'm going to kick your fucking ass. I told him. I got pissed off. Because one time, it happened by surprise. I was sitting in the backyard. I was having a beer. I got the barbecue going. And he's inviting himself into my yard. And he's sitting there, taking off his shirt. I'm like, what the fuck you doing, bro? Oh, I'm chilling. No, you're not chilling here. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of my yard. You crazy? That's why he hates me. He fucking guy hates me. But I don't care. I don't want him, because I don't want him around down here with my son. My son, my son is a baby. But I didn't know at the time that the guy was a fucking pedophile. I didn't know about that shit. That I found out a couple of years after that. Like another year after, about another year and a half after my son was born and that tenant moved in, then I found out that that's when I got rid of his ass. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, I thought it's two-faced. Nightbot. Yeah. Good morning, overtime. Yeah. So no. That's what happened in the beginning. Because what happened was, like I told you, my wife and the family used to live in this house. I was living in the Bronx. I was fine. She would stay with me in the Bronx. That was like, her. She would stay with me. I was letting her stay with me at the time. And then finally, when we, what happened with the house? We lost our fucking house and all that shit. And then, we got married. And then at that time, she, the family already had all moved out the house and all that shit. And she only had tenants upstairs. But that one guy was like, he was like the so-called super. But the guy can't do shit. He would break shit upstairs. That's another thing I told him. I told him from now on, don't touch nothing upstairs. If anything should be fixed, I fix it. Or I gotta get somebody to fix it. Don't try to fix it yourself. Oh, yeah. I told him, I'm gonna tell you one more time. Don't try to fix it yourself, or I'm gonna throw you out this fucking window. I told him one time. Yeah, that's the one I knocked out. That's exactly the same one I knocked out. Bang! Yeah, it's the same one. The same Irish fucking Mick. Sorry about the slur. Sorry. Fucking Mick. Whatever the fuck. Jerk off. Sorry. I get worked up when I fucking talk about this guy. What a fucking guy. He's a fucking low life. He could tell the guy's he's a grifter. You know what's a grifter? A guy that always goes around everywhere, fucking leeches off of people. That's him. He's a fucking grifter. So I was like, like when the tenants, I remember the tenants told me, the other tenant, the new guy, he had told me, when I went up there, he said, anything you need, come and see me. I'm like, who the fuck he is? And I'm telling the guy, who the fuck he is? He come to see you. What the fuck? Why he's like the fucking cell block. What they call that guy? The house boss. Like he runs the corridor upstairs. Who the fuck is this guy think he is? So I said, listen, you need anything, you come and speak to me. I'm the fucking landlord here. He's just a fucking tenant. All right? Don't listen to him. He's just a fucking tenant, and he's 2 steps away from getting his fucking ass kicked out of here. That's what I told the guy. I said, you need something, you come to me. Capiche? You come to me, capiche? And then I told him, listen, stop telling them that, I kept telling him, you're just a fucking tenant here. You're not the fucking super here. You need to, take it down a fucking notch and cut this shit out. I told him, cut it out. And he was always fucking trying to undermine me. And then finally, how he got evicted was, and by the way, I still didn't know he was a pedophile. I found that out right during the eviction process. I found out that that's when I finally found out he was a pedophile. Then I got him anyway. What happened was I was renting 3 rooms upstairs, right, in the second floor, 3 rooms. But, I'm going to say it like this. I don't care because I'm not renting now no more upstairs. You got in Yonkers or New York City, and a lot of places, you're supposed to have a permit to rent. Like, who does that? For a room? Who does that? So what happened was the other tenant, the one that I evicted before him, he had he made a complaint to the Department of Buildings on my house, saying that my house, that I was a slumlord, that there was mold in the bathroom, and there was rats upstairs, which was a lie. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. There's a little mold in the bathroom. Yeah, there was a little bit of mold, but it's not out of hand. Eventually it was fixed. It was because of the roof. There was water coming through the side of the roof. Anyway, it was fixed. Especially after he left. I fixed all that shit anyway. So he put a complaint on me. So he sent the building inspector over here. But what happened was, we don't have a doorbell. They just knock on the door. But this fucking jerk off used to come running down the stairs opening the door. And I told him. And when people knock on that door, you don't open that fucking door. That's my fucking door. It's on my level. If you're expecting somebody, like the Chinese, I get it. But anybody else, you don't open the door for nobody. I don't care. If you don't know who this person is, you don't open the door for them. That's it. I don't care. That's what I told him. Why he does? Like a jerk off, like he wants to be the man of the house. He runs downstairs. He lets the inspector in the house. Because if I would have been there, if I would open the door, I would tell the inspector, first of all, let me see some paperwork. And what are you here for? Why are you here for? What are you here for? Because I would have asked for a warrant. I would have said, no, I'm not going to let you in unless I see some paperwork, like a court order paperwork that you need to go in there. I'm not going to let you in there. I don't know who the fuck you are from a hole in the ground. You could be posing as a fucking inspector, and before you know it, my home is getting invaded. Fuck no. I'm not going to let you in. I'm not. But what this jerk off does, yeah, exactly. You're not going to open the door for nobody, for anybody, exactly. But why he does, he lets them in. So the inspector goes right upstairs and he sees the 3 rooms. And he tells him that he's a tenant and he's paying me rent. And then the other 2 weren't home. They were working. You know, one of them was working. The other one was somewhere else. But he tells them, because this guy, that's nothing. This guy's not working. You know, this guy wasn't working. He's collecting disability. You know, for his fucking liver shit and all that bullshit. He's collecting disability for a lot. But he has a whole bunch of ailments. So then the inspector comes down, and by that time I open my door and I see the inspector come down, and he says, "You're the owner?" I say, "Yeah, I'm the owner." He said, "Well, you know, you need to evict all of them upstairs because that's illegal occupancy. You don't have a permit, and according to the plans of the house, which is true. I didn't know about that. There's three rooms upstairs. Technically, there's only 1 bedroom upstairs. The other one was an old living room. And the other one was a storage room. It's a real small room. So they consider that a storage room according to the plans. I can change the plans and make them all legally bedrooms. But you know how much that's going to cost me? Like at least 10 grand. Fuck, I'm not paying 10 grand just to rename a couple of rooms. Are you kidding me? That's a fucking scam. Fuck no. So he told me, you're going to have to evict them. And I said, oh, then the light bulb went in my head. Oh. That's what I got him. I said, oh, since you let him in, that's what I told them. I said, Dennis, since you let him in, I'm going to have to evict you. He fucked himself. Oh, my God, bro. So right there, I said, oh, so he said, no, so illegal occupancy. And he gave me a card for a hearing. I said, okay. I said, no, I'm going to comply. I'm going to comply because I'm going to get rid of them. My brother was up there at the time, my brother Harry. So my brother Harry, he had the bedroom. So and that's my brother. So, you know, with him, no, that's my brother, and he's not paying me rent. That's it. But the other 2, they gotta go. You gotta go. And the other guy too, he was cool. So I said, no, don't worry about it. You don't gotta go right now. You don't gotta go. I mean, when we go to court, just say, you're my cousin, whatever. But Dennis, I got him because I wanted his ass out of here. So then that's when I went to my lawyer right here, Romano, on South Broadway right here. Romano, I need an eviction for this guy. Here you go. Make it happen. Here you go, Romano. Here you go. Here you go. Get this fucking guy out of my house. So he got served within about a week or so. Then we went to court. Then he was pulling shenanigans on me about other shit, but I don't get to. I already talked about it before. He called the cops on me a few times for harassment. And then I said, we got rid of him. He did it to himself because he kept opening the fucking door. If he wouldn't open the door and would have kept quiet, even the guy kept telling him, the other roommate kept telling him, no, the guy, he just had it in for you, Danny. He was like, like Trump derangement syndrome. That was him. Danny derangement syndrome. He just couldn't stand me. So, and then, of course, I'll tell you what happened later on. Like 2 years later, he came back one night. First, he was stalking me because my neighbor told me that he was on the other side looking at my house. So I still got to look after him because motherfucker, when they could try something stupid, like try to set fire to my house or some shit. You don't know. Let me tell you, you don't know about these people. Sometimes. So, yeah, so RRT08, don't rent it out. Don't rent it out because you know what? God forbid you rent it out to the wrong person. Forget about it. You don't want to deal with that. You don't want to deal with that. Believe me. Yeah. Let me read some. I'm having a puffing talking about this fucking guy. But now he got under my skin, bro. And during the eviction process, you can't say nothing to him. You can't say nothing to him because then they could avoid the eviction. But then What happened was during that time, finally, the other guy told me, "Yo, you need to look this guy up." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, just look him up. I said, "Okay." So when I looked him up, I saw all this shit. I was like, "Oh shit, this guy's a fucking level 2." And then I went back to him to confirm me. I said, "Ron." That's his name. The other guy's name was Ron. I said, "Ron, is it that is?" I looked him up and I found this. Is that true? He said, "Yeah, that's what I found out." He said, "And by the way, there's a number." And I said, "Yeah, I already know the number." So I called the number because level 3. They said level 3. Level 1 is level 1 is the least offensive. So that one you don't go on the registry, I believe. I don't know if I have the order the other way. Level 2 is in the middle. Level 2, you're on the registry, but your picture's not on the website because they put everybody's picture. If you're level 3, you on the New York State website for sex offender. You right there, bro. Your face right there. So his buddy was there. The other guy he used to bring with him all the time, his homie. They should be drinking upstairs. The other guy was a level 3, and that's what he told me. He said, no. And the other guy, Charlie, he's a level 3. I said, yeah, I know. I looked him up, and I said, oh shit, fucking guy, these 2 pedophiles upstairs hanging out in my house. So right there, we told our lawyer, during the process on the hearing, I told my lawyer, I said, yo, this guy's a level 2 offender. I looked him up. I called the state because for level 2, you got to call the state. Because they don't have their picture on level 2, they don't have their picture in New York State. Only level 3, you could just look them up. And you see their picture and everything right there. But level 2, you got to call the state. And then they're going to ask you for some information about him, like his date of birth or something. So I gave them the date of birth, and they told me what he did. They say, yeah, this guy, I don't want to say here because it's kind of gross. It's very disgusting and disturbing. And definitely was a minor. It was very disgusting when I heard the charges and all that shit. Why he and that's when I heard. I said, I gotta confirm. That's it. So when we went to the hearing, I told my lawyer, I said, listen, this guy, because my lawyer was like, oh, he opened his big mouth, said that I was harassing him. So I told my lawyer, I said, no. Listen, this guy, he cannot stay with us. He's a level 2 sex offender. I got a baby boy, and I have a wife. He cannot stay no matter what. I don't care. He's gonna leave. He's gonna fucking leave one way or the other. If they would have ruled against me, God forbid, let me tell you, I'm gonna look at the camera right now. If they would have ruled against me and this guy and the judge would have ruled against me and he didn't leave, you would have saw my face in the news after that. Because I was gonna fling this guy out the window. For real. He was not gonna stay under any circumstance. Judge or no fucking judge. He was gone. All right? I'm looking at you straight, bro. Yeah, with that face that, listen, I would have took care of that fucking guy. You're not gonna stay in my house. Not after that shit. Fuck you. But the judge ruled in my favor because my lawyer said, no, and by the way, Danny, bring your family up here. And then you know what else the judge want? Because then he said, this is family. He didn't bring up because then that's when Dennis shut up. Dennis shut up because the lawyer told him to shut up. His lawyer told him to shut the fuck up. Leave. That's it. Because if he brings up that you're level 2, they're gonna ask. You know what happened, right? He's not supposed to be near a school. He's supposed to register all that shit. I have 2 schools right nearby me. So he's violating all that shit. So that's why he shut up. He shut up. The lawyer told him, my lawyer told his lawyer, listen, if your fucking client, he didn't say it like that, but basically I heard everything. He said, if your client bring up that my client's harassing him, I'm going to bring up that he's a level 2 sex offender. And that's it. That's when the lawyer shut up. She shut up. She shut him up. It was a female too. She shut him up. So we went up there for the hearing. Okay, and then the lawyer tried to say that he's a veteran. Here's another one. The lawyer said, oh, he's a veteran. My lawyer said, oh, by the way, my client is a veteran too. He said, hey, he's a veteran. And then the judge asked me, Oh, what service you from? What service? Where did you serve? Oh, I served in the Air Force. He said, "Oh, me? Oh, I was in the Air Force too. The judge was in the Air Force too." Oh, what you did? I was a jet engine mechanic. Oh, yeah, I was in communications or something. I forgot what he said. Oh, you're an airman. I said, yeah, man. I mean, he tried to pull the veteran card on me, and then I fucking flipped. I did the Uno. I fucking did the Uno on him. You know Uno, the game? Reverse card. Oh, shit, yo. And the judge, he's Air Force too. He was like, oh, yeah, I was in the Air Force. I was in the Air Force. You know, I was like, retired Air Force. I think something like, and I was like, oh, shit. And then that's when the judge told him, you got till Friday to leave. You got till Friday to leave. Boom. Oh, my God, yo. I tell you, man, I got some stories, bro. That shit was, oh, my God. My wife is smiling. I'm smiling. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, he tried to pull a veteran card on me. I hate when people do that veteran shit. Like, yo, you know, you're supposed to leave. You know, you're this close that he's going to tell the judge that you're a pedophile. And you still want to pull out the veteran card. Because the lawyer pulled out the veteran card on. Your Honor, he's a veteran. And then my lawyer said, Your Honor, my client is a veteran too. And then the judge asked me, oh, you're a veteran? What branch? I said, United States Air Force, sir. Oh, you Air Force. Oh, I was in the Air Force too. What was your, I was a jet engine mechanic. And then he started talking. Oh, cool. You know, now he said cool. He's like, oh, great. You know. That's when it was old fan. Finito. Oh my God, yo. I did the Uno. I did the reverse card on him. You know, Uno. You think you got me, and then I gotta put the reverse card. Toma. Let me set my alarm. Hold up. Where's my phone now? Just in case. 11:22, but you know, time flies, you know. When I gotta go pick up my son, you know. let me read some comments. Yeah, that's the same knucklehead that I knocked out 2 years later. I popped on him. He tried to fight me. You know, get out of here, man. Yeah. James Farley, just imagine. Let me see if I don't want to miss anybody out, man.